We're looking at the Tecsun PL-680. I bought this radio from Anon-Co for $137. It took 9 days to deliver. This radio originally was introduced in 2015, and the reason I'm buying it in 2024 is it comes with analog electronics as opposed to digital like most modern day radios have. And because these components are now hard to come by, this radio, along with the PL-660, are going to cease production due to lack of components. Some quick specs on it. The radio is 7.4 inches wide, 4.5 inches tall, and a depth of 1.2 inches. It accepts either UM3 rechargeable batteries or 4 AA batteries. Bands include FM, medium wave, long wave, short wave, SSB, plus and minus, and air. You also get FM stereo via the headphones. Suitable for traveling, it includes 2 alarms, has 2,000 memory presets, along with a host of other features. Inside the box, we have an English user's manual, a leather-looking pleather case for the radio. We have an antenna that's included for shortwave use, long wave. 2, 4 rechargeable batteries, headphones, and an AC adapter charger. A closer look at the pleather case reveals nice stitching on both sides. It opens this way. There's the radio. You do have a place here to slide in some notes or maybe even the manual. The bottom has a pouch so it catches the radio. The batteries are 1,000 milliamp hours each for a total of 4,000. And yes, these will recharge just by plugging in the included AC adapter. Because this radio is of an older design, there is no USB charging port. Whether you have one or several radios, this is the kind of stand you should get. It easily holds your radio at your desired angle, and it's easy to rotate, especially if you're using the medium wave and you're trying to tune in the signal. Turning on the radio changes the display to show you signal strength, a light that just goes off after a few seconds, the frequency that you're on, and your time, and listing of the band, which is FM in this case, and megahertz. To enter a frequency, you simply press the numbers, 89.5. No need to enter the point. Unlike your DSP radios, which would just snap off once you drifted away from the center frequency, this operates like a true analog radio.
And then bring them around to where all of us could relate to him.
Notice the signal strength.
Very, very wonderful thing to think about circumstances, and we could relate to him.
To perform a frequency scan, we simply press the FM button, and then it'll go through, and you'll see the memories clicking as it picks up a signal and programs it into memory. So it found 19 frequencies, and we can just dial through the frequencies by turning the tuning knob.
Are really good at following rules and operating tools.
To get out of the memory page mode, just simply hit the VFVM button. And now we're back at 102.5. And we're free to dial up and down with the knob or do a keypad entry. Things to know about the rotary knobs is the volume has a stop on it. It's not virtual. And the tuning knob is not detented. So it's just smooth, which is different from most of my DSP radios, Now I have several radios that can get air frequency. This is the first time I've actually heard anything on them.
3556, you'll have traffic currently 11 o'clock, 20 miles northwest down 8000 of Sarasota.
One of the advantages of this rather large display is that you can see it from any angle, and it makes it easy to program the radio. Power button has two functions, obviously on and off for the radio, but if you hold it down, it also engages the sleep timer. And by using the rotary knob, you can adjust the time that you want the radio to stay on before it automatically turns off. And so now this radio will run for 1 full minute and then turn off. And you'll notice that you get a sleep indicator on the display. And the radio has turned itself off. To set the time, you simply press the time button. You get a flashing indicator, and now you can set it to any hour that you want. If you leave the button alone after 3 seconds, it auto confirms. To set minutes, we push the button again, and that gets us into the minute mode. And now I'm going to let it confirm that it's 13:11 is the time. How simple is that? To utilize timer 1 or timer 2 or both, you first need to turn on the radio, find the radio station that you want to wake up to, and then set the station, set the volume that you want, whether it's going to be loud or low. And then you're going to hit memory and timer A or timer B. Now I'm going to pick a different station here. And I'm going to hit memory, timer B. And so now I have two different stations programmed in, one for each of the timers. The volume level will be at whatever level you left it on, so it's not independent. But now we can turn off the radio. Now I'm going to select timer 1, press, and I can set the hour. So I'll make that 12 and hit it again. And I can set the minute, 12:18. And now you see that it has confirmed that at 12:15, it will turn on whatever radio station I set for timer A. And you can see it's alternating between timer A and B, showing you the times that are preset. And when you have the little speakers lit up, that means those are the ones that are set to activate. So you decide, you know what, I don't need the timer A alarm. You just press timer and it turns it off. And again, you can do the same for B, and now they're both off. But if they're on, then at that particular time, the radio will turn on and go to that predetermined station. If you're already listening to the radio and your alarm is set, then the radio will automatically switch to that radio station. So you can use it, for example, if you have a favorite radio program that comes on at a certain time every day, you can just have it automatically go to that. So even if you're distracted, the radio will go to that station while it's on. When one of your alarms does go off, you can hit the snooze button, which also functions as the light button, and that will give you 5 minutes of silence before the radio comes back on. Regardless of whether the radio is on or off, pressing the light button will turn on the panel. It will either self-extinguish after a few seconds or stay on depending on the setting of the number 5 button. With the radio off, pressing the number 5 button will give you either an on or off message. In this case, we got an on message, which means that when I turn on the radio, the lamp automatically comes on and then it self-extinguishes after a few seconds. If I make a change to the radio, the lamp comes back on and once again automatically extinguishes after a few seconds. I can always override that by going up here to the light snooze button, And now the light is on, and that light will stay on until I come back and hit the light snooze button again. Turning off the radio, I can go and press number 5 again, and this time it says off. So when I turn on my radio, you'll notice that there was no display turning on. If I make a change, the light does not come on. But I can still come up to light snooze, press, turn it on for as long as I want to, then I can come back and turn it off. So that's the difference between the on function, which is on and off automatically, or the off function of the number 5, which is where you control the light with the light snooze. Below the light snooze button, there's something called step. And when you're tuning with the knob, if it's in slow, no matter how fast or slow you tune with the dial, it will go through all the increments. And if you press and hold this button down, it can switch over to fast. And in fast, you see it's doing jumps of 10. And no matter how slow you go, you're always going to get an increment of 10. And this will vary depending on the band that you're on. But if you press it one more time and hold, you get fast, slow. And what that enables you to do is to step in 1 kilohertz steps, or if you turn it faster, it'll go in 10 steps. So it automatically adjusts to the speed that you're turning the knob. With the radio powered off, pressing the number 1 button lets you set the FM range, and it just toggles through each time you press and hold that button. So 88108 is what I want for North America. Do you want to engage long wave? By pressing this button, you can either turn it off, or pressing it again turns it on. If you actually want to listen to long wave, then you double press the AM button, and that'll switch from AM to long wave. Then the number 3 button allows us to set either a step of 9 kilohertz or 10. Again, for North America, 10. Switching bands is accomplished by either pressing the AM button, the FM button. If you double press the AM button, of course, you get long wave. Long pressing AM will cause the radio to scan through and drop whatever stations it picks up into memory. Likewise for FM. The auto tuning storage works a little differently with the shortwave. By pressing and holding, you'll activate the A mode, which will grab all stations within the meter bands. So all of 10 meter, nothing else. Example. On the B side, it'll actually do the entire band. An advantage to the B side is that it doesn't overwrite old stations that are already in memory, whereas the A function will. In order to get to the air band, you press air. That is not scannable. You have to manually tune through that. If you press SSB, that gets you to upper and lower sideband. Once you've scanned frequencies into your memories, you can go to the VF/VM button, press it once, and that puts you into playing back the memories. And by using the rotary knob, you can just go through each of the channels that have been logged into memory. And then when you're done with that, if you hit the VF/VM button, it brings you back out to your frequencies. And now you can just dial up and down as you want. Now we know what the VF/VM does, but did you know that it can also scan? So we're at 89.80 FM, And if I hold down the button, it scans, it listens to the station, and then it moves on.
God, it's almost entirely genetic.
So it's a great way of just scanning through the band. You get a quick listen, and if it's something you like, you can just stop the scan. And to get out of that mode, you simply press the button again. If while in the scanning mode, you hear something that you like, just simply hit memory, and it'll drop it down into the next available slot for you. This radio has 2,000 station memories that are arranged over 12 pages. When you go into page 0, that's broken down to 200 for shortwave and sideband, 100 for FM, medium wave, long wave, and then 100 for air. The remaining pages 1 through 12 have 100 memories each. When dropping a frequency into memory, you're given the opportunity to pick a memory number. It's now being programmed into number 30. When dropping a frequency into memory, you also have the option of changing the page number by using the plus or minus for page, and then either using the rotary knob to pick a number or just using that default that shows up. To delete a particular storage, you just go to the VM button, select the channel that you want to delete, hit and hold the delete key, and then toggle it one more time, and that'll clear out the memory. If you don't press it the second time and just allow it to time out, then nothing is deleted. A second method of auto-deleting is that while you're in the VM mode, and we see our page in preset, if you press the key down again and hold it, it'll actually start scanning through the page memories. And if you come across one that you don't like, just hit delete. And you can always come back out by hitting the VF button, back to normal frequency. It flashes 3 times and you're back where you can just change the frequency. If you wish to delete an entire page, then go to that page, hold down the delete key for about 3 seconds, and then you see it's flashing and confirm that you want to delete that key. Oop, came in a little too late. Let's try that one more time. It's flashing, and then I hit delete, and now page 2 is no longer. After running scans and eliminating channels you don't like, you may end up with a bunch of channels that are duplicates. You may have holes within your channel assignments. So one way to clean everything up is by auto-sorting the memory. With the radio off, you go down to where it says AMBW, and it has a little neon orange hamburger, and you press and hold for about 3 seconds. You'll see a little chase going on, and it's sorting through, getting rid of any duplicates, clearing up any empty spaces, and laying them out sequentially in your page numbers. When completed, it extinguishes, and now everything's consolidated and it's easier to tune through. When selecting an FM stereo station, you can engage it by using the FM stereo button. Otherwise, it'll be monaural out the headphones. Of course, it's a single speaker on the radio, so there's no need to have the stereo on when you're not using the headphones. Below that is the AM bandwidth, which is adjustable when you're in the AM mode. As you recall, this symbol indicates that we're using rechargeable batteries with radio, but if you decide to swap out and put in AA batteries, you have to come down to the memory button, press and hold while the radio is off, and then that switches off the charger. So now when you plug in the radio with the charger, it won't attempt to charge the batteries. And then, of course, once you put your rechargeable batteries back in, make sure You switch back, hold down memory until you get charger on. Now when you plug in the adapter, it'll power the radio and it'll also charge the battery. One of the last remaining keys is the lock key, and that can be used with the radio on or off. In the off mode, pressing lock will give you a lock indication on the display, and now nothing you do will work, not even the power button, until you extinguish the lock. So we press, hold down, it unlocks. Now we turn on the radio. It's on a station, we lock, and now I can't change the station. I can, however, turn on and off the light, and I can't power the radio down with it in the lock mode. So gives you dual flexibility, and then to disengage it, we simply press that one button. The one key we've ignored is the sync key, and that works only on AM, and the purpose of that is you have an adjacent station and it's causing a lot of interference. By switching the sync mode on, you get sync USB, and you also, if you press it again, get sync LSB, and one of those might provide you with better programming. I don't have that situation, so I can't really demonstrate it to you, but that's the purpose of using the sync. It's only for AM when there's a strong adjacent station that's causing interference and you're trying to optimize the signal. These are self-explanatory. Antenna attenuation. If you have a really strong signal that's overdriving the radio, then you'll probably want to switch it over to local. For most everyday use, you'll probably want to be in DX, which is the most sensitive, or in normal. Then your tone control is either treble or bass. There's no adjustment to it. It's either one or the other. I find that in treble, the audio is just a little bit too hissy for me, so I leave it in bass. Then, of course, headphones and power jack. If you found this video interesting or useful, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Join the subscription team. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching.